Okay, yeah, hi, I'm Dave Lieber, and that really is me. I fell off the stage at Keller High School in 1998, and it still hurts. But we'll talk about that some other time. My guests today on the Dave Lieber Show are two community leaders, Randy White, Real Estate Services, and Tim Waterworth of Waterworth Wealth Advisors. Welcome to the Dave Lieber Show, guys.
Hey. Thank you, Dave. It's great to be here with you.
I'm excited because you guys were the sponsors of my Amon Carter play.
Yes.
And you are Amon Carter. You are the modern day Amon Carter. You know, who said a man must live with his community, not off it. And you both live by that philosophy. You know, you do a lot of regular realtor stuff. Like, for example, Randy, you always send me a Dallas Cowboys, schedule in the mail.
A lifelong diehard fan.
You sent this about the fall. Fall is coming.
Right.
You put this together recently, the real estate history of Northeast Tarrant County,
yes,
which I loved.
It was riveting.
And Tim, you do the same. You send every day or so. I get your newsletter.
Yeah.
This is all realtor stuff, right? And then I get your notebook. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
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 And so that's the kind of stuff that everybody else does. But as the quote here from Amon Carter, it says, "A man cannot live off his community. He must live with it." And you both really subscribe to that. Mr. Carter owned the newspaper, the Star Telegram. He owned Channel 5, and he owned WBAP radio. And he's the subject of my play, Amon the Ultimate Texan, which we've done 67 performances of. But you guys actually live this. You live the philosophy of being part of the community, living with it, not off it. How would you describe that philosophy, Randy?
Well, a lot of ways. From one standpoint, I look at the world with a biblical worldview, and I think Amon did too. So those principles I follow. Number two, it's community's fun, and so for example, when you wrote Amon, and about a community go-giver like no other, that's easy to support. Because I believe community needs to get together, and you provide that with your play. Mm-hmm. And so those are the kind of things that I get excited about that brings us together.
There's no shortage of real estate or realtor people here. There's no shortage of financial advisors. But this is how you guys distinguish yourself, I think, from everybody else. Not just putting money in and having your name, but actually getting down and dirty and getting involved, right? Right, Tim?
Yeah, absolutely. It's as Randy said, it's fun, first of all, and it gives us a chance to make a connection with the community, but also our clients, because we'll involve them. And I just view I've been very fortunate, and I think that when you've been fortunate, you should share and give back. And giving back to the place where you make a living just makes good business sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, and I have some more examples of that. I'll show everybody how we did handle the program. And what we did for the plays that you guys sponsored in Grapevine was we put full-page ads inside the program representing, your businesses, and I thought that was kind of cool. Let's see. There's a picture there, I'd like to show, called Tim and Amon. And what happened here was when you showed up at the show, Tim, in Grapevine, you rented out Messinahoff Winery, mm-hmm. and you invited all your guests at the play to yes. come in and have a wine, brunch, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's reception.
Yeah, reception. And here's a picture of a picture of you and Kelvin Dilks, who played Amon Carter in the.
Yeah, he does a great job. He's a lot of fun.
There he is.
And our guest really did enjoy the show. It was great. Had a lot of good feedback.
Yeah, and I thought that was such an amazing idea that you had, was to invite your client base and to host them at a play and then offer them wine reception.
Yeah, it was absolutely perfect because, Messinahoff is right across the street.
Yeah.
All you got to do is do the crosswalk and you're there. And we rented the upstairs, and it's got a balcony. You can look out over Main Street, and the food and the beverages were great and well appreciated. So we had a great time.
Yeah, I mean, nobody does that. That's so original and creative, and everybody did have a good time. I was really happy to see that. But also, I gave you both the opportunity to introduce the play when it was in Grapevine at the Palace Theater. And Tim, you did something really spectacular. You did an introduction video for the play. And I'd like to show that right now,
Yeah.
so people can see this creative marketing that you put together.
In every generation, there are leaders who think beyond today, who invest in the future and leave something greater behind.
Amon Carter Sr. was one of those leaders, a visionary who helped shape the culture, economy, and identity of modern Texas.
At Waterworth Wealth Advisors, we understand that legacy is more than wealth. It's about values, purpose, and the future we leave for others.
We're honored to support this celebration of vision, resilience, and civic pride.
Because what we build today shapes tomorrow.
We hope you enjoy the show.
And all I can say is, that
Oh,
was just fantastic.
thank you. You know, it was very happenstance that we were in Austin creating a video for our webpage. And we were having the conversation about the play and the opportunity to introduce. And it just came to me that day. And we already had the studio and the guy that was supporting us there. And he said, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Give it a try. So that was pretty much our first take. And it worked out really well. So
It was beautiful. I loved
Yeah.
it. I was so proud of it. It shows what I'm talking about is, it's not just all business. It's business plus community, plus love, plus family, plus religion. I'd like to give you a really good example of how being community oriented works. The other day I needed to have what they used to call a water closet fixed. Do you know what a water closet is?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a toilet,
Restroom,
right? A
yes.
toilet. And so my wife Karen said, we got a plumber. And I said, who? And she said, the guy, Isaac Gans from Panther City Plumbing, who works with Summer Santa. And I had just helped this Isaac guy carry boxes of clothing out of Mervyn's into a car. And so, he got my business. And the reason he got my business was because he's community oriented. He lives with the community, not off it. So I think it really works. I'm surprised that more people don't do it. Let's skip to Ink cover. And this is a magazine, Ink Fort Worth Ink, that came out the summer of 2025. And it lists 500 most influential people in Fort Worth. And if you skip to the inside of the magazine, you'll see what they wrote about you, Randy. I'm going to read it out loud because this is to be one of the first 500 influential people in any city is important. Randy White's agency in South Lake, in Colleyville, Grapevine, Keller, Westlake, among others, has been recognized for its efficiency and customer-based focus. With the help of its 3-person concierge team, White makes it a priority to exceed his clients' expectations with every transaction. Realtor of the Year by the Fort Worth Builders Association and Best Realtor in Fort Worth magazine. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's an honor.
I'd like
Of
to
course,
share.
the joke around our house is, they say I'm one of the most influential people in Fort Worth, yet I can't get Natalie and my wife to do anything if I ask.
I've seen Natalie do all kinds of things,
I don't
Randy.
understand it.
Yeah, well, I've seen Natalie work her tail off for Summer Santa, our
Okay.
children's charity. So.
Well,
Yeah,
She's
he
a
writes
go-
the check.
she's a-
She does the work.
she's a go-giver too, like you are.
Well,
She is.
Let's show what's called Randy Facebook.
Okay.
This is an ad we made based on what you said that ran before the Grapevine plays. Randy White says, I decided to be the first sponsor of this great play, Aiming the Ultimate Texan, because I believe, as Amon believed, that a person must live with their community, not off it. I love the arts because the story and messages communicate to the heart like no other way. I can only hope the community loves the play as much as Natalie and I do. I thought that was beautiful. And let's show Heinz. One of the things that makes you different, Randy, is you give out weird Christmas gifts. You showed up at my front door and you
was
said,
4th of
Merry
July,
Christmas. 4th of July?
caught by
Oh,
surprise for you.
I confused my holidays.
That's all right. It was
Yeah.
still weird.
And did we see a picture of Heinz? Yeah. You had the grill pack, right? Relish, mustard, ketchup. And, the funny thing is, every time I use it, I think of you, which is the purpose of it. And every time I just realize, when I look at it, I realize this is not your normal real estate guy. He's
No,
just,
but it was so worth the visit just to see the look on your face with me handing you that. I was in Costco. It was close to 4th of July, and I thought, Dave's going to love this. If he doesn't cook out, he needs to.
Yeah,
So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I'm using it, but no one's ever given me ketchup before.
He's
But-
clearly relishing it too.
Oh,
You're
very good.
relishing.
Very good. Let's switch to Summer Santa logo. And this is a charity that I started with Brad Bradley, a local municipal judge back in 1997 that sends kids to camp and collects toys and all these wonderful things. And Randy, where have the board of directors been meeting for the past 15 years?
Oh, you guys meet at my office,
That's right.
and my office actually is just it's a landmark in South Lake that I don't deserve. I'd gotten that through a prayer. I was in a location and didn't know how that was really working out, and just said, Lord, if there's something better, please reveal it. And in 2 days, I drive by where I'm at now, and there's a for sale sign up. And I just thought, this is something I feel like I need to share with community. I shouldn't even have that office. It was I think a little business miracle that I got it. So, real estate, we spend a lot of our time in people's homes and in the community showing houses and et cetera. So, not realtors aren't in the office a lot, so I'm able to share it with charities. And I'm none as excited I am as to share as Summer Santa, because they have virtually no overhead. Everything they receive from giving goes to help the kids. And it's a working board where the board members actually do work that you couldn't pay for. So I'm a fan what you created.
Yeah, we used to meet at the Star Telegram office, and then they shut that down, and then we moved to your office, and that was about 15 years ago. So they've been
Wow.
meeting in your conference room.
Time flies.
Yeah, and that's really, thank you for that.
Well, my pleasure.
Tim, what are some of the unusual and strange things that you do to attract clients, and what kind of community projects are you involved in that I don't know about that you can want to brag about?
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Well, strange and unusual things. This just summer we had an intern come in and join our practice, and we are also had an initiative to we called it Next Gen, to help the children of our clients in terms of these young people that are first job out of college, newly married, new baby, those sorts of things. And oftentimes they don't have a lot of financial experience and could use some help. So we proactively reached out to that audience, and we had a intern who was helping us, bright girl, and she's funny too. And she started doing these TikTok looking videos about our practice and posting them. Mm-hmm. And I still haven't gotten quite comfortable with them yet, but I'm getting rave reviews from everybody that sees them and says that's absolutely the way you market with video online.
Yeah, you promoted the play that you sponsored in the weeks before. You did something like with the Clint Eastwood music behind with a cowboy hat on.
Yes.
What else did you do?
Oh, geez. The last one they did, I had nothing to do with it, but it was Shauna in my office, and Natalie was the intern's name. There's something going around on the internet, a viral meme, I guess it is, called girl math. Seems kind of sexist to me, but anybody that's seen it would probably chuckle at it. But you got to see it. I can't describe it. I can't do it justice. So.
I think the fact that you are, you're over 30, we'll put it like that.
A little bit.
And you're doing this intensive social media campaign by an intern who is how old?
She's probably 23.
See, so that's
22.
just fantastic. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Hire young people to bring you into the 21st century.
I've got a couple people in my office, younger people, and it's great working with them. They bring good energy and a fresh perspective. And it's really just me, like, agreeing to let them do things. Mm-hmm. And but they've been really good to push us forward in terms of social media and video marketing.
What kind of charities are your favorites?
Well, over the years, we've done a lot of different things, sponsoring charity golf tournaments, We've supported Summer Santa when they have fundraising events. We'll always buy a table, at least, and invite people to join us. Metroport Meals on Wheels. I'd say that I was a road warrior corporately for a very long time, and it didn't really, with having a family, it didn't give a lot of time left to get involved in the community a lot. I coached at kids sports and that sort of thing, but it was some of the friends in my social circle who people well, Scott and Kelly Bradley and Dave and Lori Burr, that really inspired me to do more than I had in the past and get involved in the community. And I think they live the Amon Carter value set in their day-to-day lives in a very big way.
Yeah. You must live with your community, not off it. I come from Manhattan, and in Manhattan, people live off the community. They don't live with it. I got to Texas 30-something years ago, and I noticed that people here, volunteering is their middle name. They don't ask, like, what kind of car you drive. They say, who do you volunteer for? And that was totally different from what I had grown up with, And that's why I started Summer Santa, because I wanted to be a part of that whole giving, charitable world. Andy, what kind of boards and charities are you working with that we don't know about?
Well, I, in regards to charities, I give to the church a lot. And the church is really set up to reach people I can never reach, and I do believe in the fishes and the loaves concept, where a dollar put into the kingdom, God can multiply the effect of that dramatically. So that's a big one for me. Cook's Children, I've done fundraisers for cooks, and we'll be doing another one as soon as we can arrange it, get a home builder to kind of align with us and do a spec house, and everybody contributes their equity. And when it sells, it goes to the hospital. That'll be coming up soon. Boards, I've kind of resigned from all boards lately because the business has been thriving a little bit more than usual, and we had a great granddaughter born that I want to spend a lot of time with. So, but I love Fort Worth Christian Board, and I love the Board of Grace, and those are the boards I was on, and was proud to have been on those boards and the work they do, Christian education and helping the single and sometimes abused women. Grace.
So we know that Amon Carter said a man must live with his community, not off it, when he should have said a woman or a person, but this was back 100 years ago before they were politically correct. But do you both see the value in giving and in return helping your business grow? Is there a connection like I'm imagining there is?
I don't know. I the intangible is there's the word says it's better to give than to receive, and there is something about that. It is just better to give, whether it's your time or any money that you have that you can. And so, what was the question again?
Well, if you saw the value between the connection of the business with the community.
I don't know. I try not to think about it that way. I just try to make it a loving gift. And, I think if you love, you're committed. Whatever you love, love does. So I love the community. So I just try to give, and I don't really have an expectation, although, and I don't know why, the community's always been great to me and to us. And so it's just kind of happened.
Well, you both know a lot of people, and you have connections and friends of friends of friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to show you where the next Amon plays are going to be at the Stand Theater.
Stand.
Yeah, have you heard of it?
I have.
It's next to Venture Church on Keller Parkway. It just opened up a few weeks ago, and we have plays for Amon the Ultimate Texan on October 4th and 5th, which I'm really kind of excited about because it's a couple miles from my house, and we've taken this play to Abilene and Bowie and West Points West, and now I'm going to be in my neighborhood.
Did that used to be the
Metro Supermarket?
The theater. I'm talking about the troupe there that was in Hearst, the Artisan.
Yeah, the Artisan.
That's the Artisan folks.
No, they closed.
Okay.
So these are some of the Artisan folks have
Okay.
gone to start this.
All right.
Yeah, and it's it's definitely going to change the neighborhood. Andrew, can you show the poster for the play? So that's the one we're using now to promote it
That's
for
gonna be
Keller.
October
We're
4th and
excited that we can bring this play, keep coming back more and more and more. We have some big plans for it. We're going to be in Theater Arlington in January as a bonus play for the new season in Theater Arlington, which the play has never been performed in Arlington.
Is that the big theater by UTA?
It's not that big, but it's the main theater in town. Yeah, but I guess
It used to be where the
yeah.
Johnny High Country Music Review was, I think. That's a good theater. Yeah.
I think it's different. I think that's a
Oh, is
different
it?
building, yeah.
Okay.
And let's see, show Amon 1. So Kelvin Dilks is excited because, Amon Carter never liked Dallas. And so in the play, he just ranks on Dallas really bad. And it's fun. In Amon 2, you can see how he gets right in the audience face and he talks straight to him and really involved. If you haven't seen the play, I highly recommend it because we've won awards and we teach people about the history of the area, but not with a boring history lesson. He's acting it out. He's living back in 1930, 1940, and he uses his hat as a time machine, And at the end of the play, he says that the reason why this is so important is because we have to give. We have to care. We have to help others. And then he ends the play by saying, Will Rogers, Henry David Thoreau said, do your job and then take your hat and say goodbye. And he takes his hat and he walks off and he gets a standing ovation. So let's show that quote one more time. A man cannot live off his community. He must live with it. I think that's the most important lesson that I've learned about being a Texan is that you have to live. And I learned that at the Star Telegram, where I worked 20 years, which Amon Carter owned until he died in 1955. So this lesson changed my life, living with the community, not off it, So that's why I wanted to write this play in this book, because I wanted to live that way. I didn't want to live the way that I lived in selfish places before, like New York and Philadelphia, where it wasn't the same.
And there's a lot of very interesting characters that have come up through the Dallas-Fort Worth area over the decades. And I think telling that story is something that, whether they're natives or people who've moved there, it was like after the Amon play, it was like, well, I knew there was the museum, but I had no idea that the Carter blood material, vans had anything to do with Amon Carter. And the stories that come out of it, it just really, I think, makes people appreciate their community more. And it's, the unique characters that have made our culture over the years.
Yeah, we have 1 million people that live in Fort Worth now, and maybe 2 million outside of Fort Worth. And people don't know who he is. There's Amon Carter Boulevard, and there's Amon Carter Riverside High School, and there's Lake Amon G. Carter in Bowie.
Amon Carter Stadium, too.
Amon Carter Stadium, Amon Carter Blood Care. It just goes on and on and on. And it was all because he said you live with your community, not off it. And that's just, if you don't know that lesson, then you're not really a Texan. I think that's what the epitome of being a Texan is. Living with your community, not off it.
Well, he was a very astute businessman too, as an entrepreneur. I mean, he saw something new coming down the pike. He was quick to jump on it and figure it out, whether it be television or some of the other examples, radio.
Yeah. Well, the radio, he started WBAP,
Right.
which is the first station out here. Well, Dallas had it a few weeks before, but it starts with a W rather than a K because it was one of the first. And he said, if this is going to be a menace to the newspapers, I better own the menace. And he paid $320 to start WBAP. And he started TV in 48, and it went color in 53, I believe. And, people didn't have TVs back then, and they were only on the TV for like 3 or 4 hours a day. And, nobody had TVs, and nobody knew what to do with it, and he didn't know how he was going to make any money. And all of a sudden, it made him a multimillionaire along with everything else he did, So, well, wrapping this up, do you want to have any comments about what we've been talking about? Any thoughts that come to your mind?
Well, I'd like to thank you for how you give, Dave. You give your creativity, and you've written some books. I know you've written many books, probably 7 or 8, but there's 3 that have really resonated with me. One of them was the book on Ross Perot, who's another famous, let's just call him Texan.
Yeah.
And, with Ross, I remember when he and his son put in the Alliance Airport, how he described it as an inland port because we're connected by rail and highways and now international airways. And he was just a icon, ran for president. You wrote about him, and that was a great book. And then,
Thanks.
of course, the book on Amon. We knew him. We thought we knew him, but we didn't know him until the book. If you're my age, and I'm 69. And so, he was just quite a bit before me. So that was refreshing. And then, lifelong cowboy fan as I am, everybody's got your favorites. Mine's always been Don Meredith. You wrote a book about Don Meredith.
For you.
And just for me, I think. And so, but you've created a lot of joy, and you through your creativity, not
Thanks.
to mention Summer Santa, you've been a blessing to the
Thanks.
community, and you've been a blessing to me, and so is Karen. Thank you.
And you helped me with that Don Meredith book because you got me
Larry Cole.
Larry Cole
Yeah.
interview, and Larry was great. He's still,
He's a mess.
Yeah, he was playing Super Bowls and also building subdivisions.
5 Super Bowls, yeah.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. Yeah. What about you, Tim?
Well, I know that a lot of people associate you as the watchdog, and appreciate you not doing any watchdog articles on me or Randy for that matter. But that's great that you get out there and you educate the community about the pitfalls that are out there as far as scammers, and so I think that's a public service as well.
Thanks. I wanted to start that, and also Summer Santa, because I wanted to live with the community. I've lived in 5 different places, working for 5 different newspapers, but I never had that culture hit me in the face about helping people, and then you help yourself. And when Danny Don Meredith, gave his salutatorian speech at his high school graduation, he epitomized it. He said, quote, we walked in here as students, as kids, but when we walk out of here, we're going to be adults, and we're going to be responsible for our own lives. And he says, the best thing I can give to you, and this is an 18-year-old boy, is you must help other people whenever you get the opportunity, because when you help others, you help yourself. Now, I didn't really hear that message growing up. I didn't hear that in college. I didn't hear that in my family. I didn't hear it in my neighborhood. But, here I hear it all the time, and I see examples of it. And so,
Helping out others is one of the most gratifying things you can do.
yeah. And on that note, I want to thank Randy White and Tim Waterworth for helping me explain and understand why community giving is sometimes even more important than making a buck. So I want to thank you for being on the Dave Lieber Show, and we'll see. This is episode number 4, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for the
Thanks,
opportunity,
Dave.
Dave.